Boop-a-doop-a-doop-boop-boop-boo. Now, we addressed Rural Women's Day earlier in the show, but hey, let's look a little bit closer at what rural women and rural work means to us here at FemVid Pacific. A significant number of people in developing countries, including the Pacific, are rural people. This is kind of part and parcel of the fact that in developing countries, a lack of infrastructural development means that there's a significant amount of rural communities. And more specifically, that means a lot of rural women, and their work is definitely not easy breezy. You may live in a rural community, for example, but if you're a man, you're more likely to be leaving that area to pursue work, whereas rural women, given the kind of societal expectations, are to stay at home in those rural communities and struggling to make the day run smoothly for everybody else. Say, for example, if she's a mother, there's definitely family responsibilities. She's going to be the first person to get up and the last person to go to bed because she has to make sure everyone has breakfast, has lunch prepared, all, the water is taken care of, all of that kind of stuff. So it's really not very easy when you may not have water on tap, you might be depending on firewood, and you may have to make your budget stretch a little bit because things are really expensive and the shops aren't exactly close. Now, of course, the situation changes from country to country and from community to community, but it still remains that rural women have a lot to go through. Now, it may not necessarily be true that women aren't formally educated, for this is not necessarily the fact, and with primary education being a little bit more accessible, these women have definitely had some formal education, and they might even just be very intelligent women, but are still left out of decision-making spaces, which is really unfair. These are the women that know what kind of problems need to be addressed because they're the ones dealing with it every day. They're the ones who know how long people have to walk just to get water and how much water is needed. The husband might be, say for example, a cane farmer out in the field who gets what his wife gives him and comes back home at the end of the day with his earnings. So that's what our work really leans upon, the fact that there are all these women that do so much yet have such a quiet voice just because of the way society works. So we try to keep their voices included and try and make sure that what they have to say goes out. And that's why we have publications, our radio station, and that's why I'm here today. Because the more that we try and get people to hear, the more likely it is someone will hear us. Thanks so much for watching. This has been another FemVid. If you have anything to say, leave it in the comments below or on the FemVid Pacific or FemVid Facebook pages. And I'll see you next time.
Dum-dum-dum. Subscribe. Thank you for watching a FemVid.